Okay, so here it is, another age one. Malik is 31 years old. Caitlin is 25 years old. So how many years ago was Malik's age 3 times Caitlin's age? So that's a funny question, isn't it? So Malik is 31 years old. Caitlin is 25 years old. How many years ago was Malik's age 3 times Caitlin's age? Huh. Strange question. So we don't really need a M or C variables because they don't vary. They're fixed. We know what they are. Malik is 31. Caitlin's 25. There's no, here, I'll just write Malik. I'll just write that. Malik is 31. Caitlin 25. But I'm not going to use variables M and C because they don't vary. They don't change, do they? They're fixed. They're not unknown. We know what they are. So, well, what variable am I going to use? Well, what are they asking for? How many years ago? That's what they want. How many years ago in the end, right? How many? So I'm going to let Y be the number of years ago. Number of years ago, what? When Malik's age was 3 times Caitlin's. That's what they're saying, right? How many years ago was Malik's age 3 times Caitlin's? So let me just write that right now. So Y years ago, Y is my variable. Y years ago, Malik's age was 3 times Caitlin's age. Okay, so Y years ago, Malik's age was 3 times Caitlin's. So Malik is 31. Now, we know this means now, right? When somebody says Malik is 31 years old, they mean now. And Caitlin is 25, they mean now. So right now, Malik is 31. Right now, Caitlin is 25. So what was Malik's age Y years ago? It's going to be 31 minus Y, isn't it? Does that make sense? If Malik is 31 now, then Y years ago, she was 31 minus Y. Right? You got to subtract how many years ago. Was, that's the past tense of is in the past. In the past, she was 3 times Caitlin's age. Again, that's Y years ago. 3 times. And what would Caitlin's age be Y years ago? 25 minus Y. Do you see that? So Malik's age is 31 minus Y. That Y years ago. Y years ago, Malik's age was 31 minus Y. Y years ago, Caitlin's age was 25 minus Y. You got to subtract Y from both their ages if you want to go back Y years. Back in that time, Malik's age was, past tense of is, 3 times Caitlin's. So there's our equation. Notice we only have one letter. That's nice. One letter means we only have one equation that we need to work with. One letter, one equation. So we just need to solve that equation. So 31 minus Y, distribute the 3 there. 3 times 25 minus 3 times Y. Here is the wall separation. And we're trying to solve, let's go here, 31 minus Y is going to be what, 75. And again, we have the letter on opposite sides of the equal sign, opposite sides of the wall. So what do you do when you have the letter on opposite sides? You basically get rid of one of them. You get rid of the lower one. So let me write that for you. When the letter is on opposite sides of the equal sign, do the opposite of the lower. That's the easiest way to go. You can really do the opposite of either one. So who's the lower? Well, this one's actually lower because he's more negative than this guy, right? Minus 3y is more negative than just minus 1y. So I'm going to do the opposite of him. He's the lower. The opposite of minus 3y is plus 3y. Whatever you do to one side, you know you have no choice but to do the same thing to the other to keep the balance. These cancel. And so what do we got? 75, 31 plus 2y, right? 3y minus y is 2y. And so then we just finish up, subtract 31 from both sides, like that. And what do we got? 2y, whoops. 2y is, what's that, 44. Last step, divide by 2. Y is 22. And that's our answer. That's how many years ago. Remember, y was the number of years ago when this happened. So the number of years ago is 22. 22 years ago, Malik's age was 3 times Caitlin's. You can check it out, by the way. Not required, but in the middle of a test, it might be nice just to know you get the right answer. Let's check it. Let's check. So, right, so what? How old Malik is? Malik is 31. Caitlin is, what is she? 25. So, and then, what is it? How many? 22 years ago. Minus 22 would be, what's it, 7, 8, 9? Minus 22 would be 3. Yeah, look at that, 3 times. See how that's true? 22 years ago, Malik was 3 times Caitlin, right? Malik was 3 times Caitlin 22 years ago. When you subtract 22 from both their ages, Malik was only 9, Caitlin was only 3. Malik was 3 times as old 22 years ago. That's exactly right. It's great the way math always leads us to the truth.